and they did a drive-by where they could not see the house because it was far from the road. It's on 20 acres.
Okay, so it's true he did have 20 acres or such?
Yes.
All right, so according to the witness, they used information from the text messages to track down Darren Lopez and check on him, gather information, which led to his arrest. Here to discuss, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Noah Pines is with us, and trial attorney Kelly Hyman as well. Kelly, I'll start with you. Just I want to get your general thoughts on this case. There's a lot in play. You have a veteran who served with distinction, special forces, had some issues. 19 people in his unit died when he was part of this group that was involved in a roadside bomb. He suffered from PTSD. Both sides agree that's not an issue. Your thoughts?
Yeah. First and foremost, someone that serves our country is someone that's really admirable. In this situation, we have someone that has been charged with killing someone. And so when we look at this, we have to think that the state does have the burden. The state has to prove each element of the crime and the fact. Now, I can see the defense is trying to poke holes in the case and trying to show that she was somehow manipulative and somehow got him to do this. But at the end of the day, she allegedly is going to testify against him. And that is going to be pretty compelling testimony as well. We have to see how that happens.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Noah. This is a tough road for the defense, no question. The direction they seem to be going is that, again, as Kelly mentioned, that he was totally manipulated. What I noticed from the opening statement from the state, and at least some of the way the questioning has gone, is that they fully believe that this defendant went along with it, that this was something that they planned together, they wanted to be involved in. This wasn't as much manipulation as it was two people who really wanted to be together and wanted to get rid of this guy. I'm wondering, I don't see the facts that way. I mean, the things that she did, the lengths that she went to, and the information she had on this guy, I think it clearly was manipulation. Is it a tactical error by the state to take that approach? Because to be wrong in that way, could that affect a juror or two?
You know, I always take the honest approach, and knowing what the defense is going to argue. When I was a prosecutor, I would think about that. And the reality is even if he was somewhat manipulated, he did the act. So I don't know that changes whether he's guilty or not. It may show some mitigation for why he did the act. But, you know, if the state can prove he did the act, they can prove he did the act. I was surprised that the defense didn't object to any of those text messages coming in the way they did through the detective, because that's all hearsay. Mm-hmm. You know, typically they would come in through the person who wrote the text, especially if she's going to testify. And that kind of took away the defense's opportunity to cross, you know, the wife on these text messages and really talk about that manipulation.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought the same thing. There must be some reason for that. Not sure at this point what it is. Quickly, Kelly, I only have a few more minutes. It looks like the defense is going in the direction of his mind, the way it worked as a result of his TBI, saw threats and danger differently. And in some way, that led him to act the way he did that day. Might that carry the day, or are they playing the long game, saying, okay, we may not win on this one, but this will certainly help us in sentencing?
I think for both. So absolutely. So first, maybe potentially the jury will, you know, hear that, and that'll be a circumstance to find him not guilty, or it could be a mitigating circumstance if in fact they do find him guilty.
All right. Well, thanks to Noah Pines and Kelly Hyman for being with us tonight. Always appreciate you guys being on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Folks, stick around, because coming up next, we're going to review the 3 things we've learned today in the cases we've been covering from coast to coast right here on Court TV. Welcome back. Here are 3 things we've learned on this busy Tuesday. First, a search of the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach serial killings has ended after 2 weeks. Officials say they recovered massive amounts of evidence from Rex Heuermann's house, including 279 weapons. Heuermann has been charged with the killings of at least 3 women in Long Island. He's also considered a suspect in the death of a 4th woman. Second, today, the attorneys for Brian Kohlberger responded to the state's request for an alibi, suggesting they may present evidence of one at some point during the trial. The defense says in court filings today that they are continuing to investigate, and if any evidence comes up, they will turn it over to prosecutors. They also indicated that evidence of an alibi could come up during the cross-examination of the state's witnesses or, in fact, through experts. And third, the judge sentenced the defendant in the sleeping father death trial to 1 year in jail. Time served, actually. Megan Amirowitz made an emotional statement before her sentence was handed down. She talked about missing her father and never getting a chance to tell him goodbye.
19 years ago, I was placed into the arms of the first man to ever love me. The man I'm lucky enough to call my dad. Growing up, he became so much more. He was a storyteller, a tooth fairy, a friend and hero. But through it all, the one thing that never changed was that he was mine. I am the best parts of him. I'm his daughter. But without him, I don't know who I am anymore. He was my reason. And now every day I battle with self-harm. When I was younger, I'd count the days until I could live with my dad full time. And when that day finally came, for the first time in my life, I could finally exhale. He was my best friend and the person I talked to about boys, the one who knew every single thing about me, and my favorite person to laugh with. My dad has always been the one constant in my life. That alone, and that created an unbreakable bond between us, and no one, not especially Mr. DeSantis, can take that away from me. I never got to say goodbye, and that's a scar I'll never be able to lose. I get so scared that he thinks I didn't love him because I wasn't allowed to be there and hold his hand.
A jury convicted Megan of causing her father's death by throwing lye and water on him. Megan is expected to be released from jail tomorrow after giving credit for time served. All right, I'm Michael Ayala. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for being with me. Up next on Vice, Panama Unit. The son of a renowned sheriff and his cronies sell thousands of pounds of stolen drugs until they're brought down by investigators within the Department of Homeland Security. Then ahead at 8 p.m. Eastern, tune into Closing Arguments. Vinnie Politan takes a look at the biggest moments in the Gilgo Beach serial killer case, plus a look at the possible alibi defense for Brian Kohlberger. It's coming up next here on Court TV, your front row seat to justice.